is Crawford and this is Virginia's Lowriders. We are finally switching up on projects a little bit. We were going to work on the Caprice. We were going to work on the van. And then that whole A.d.d thing kicked in. And I bought a new project. And in the back of my black truck right there is a whole lot of steel that will potentially go in this project. I showed it once before. Here's the Mazda, if you've never been to the channel, bag body dropped. There's tons and tons of videos. This is the new project. Today, we're gonna be doing something to it. I'm not totally sure. I'm thinking the first thing is, if you've ever messed with a Ranger, they have gigantic transmission cross members. I think we're gonna go ahead and make a new one of those. The truck doesn't run awesome yet. It's been sitting for probably 10, 20 years, or who knows how long. But I figure the first thing we'll do is tackle. You can shut it off. We're going to tackle that massive transmission crossmember because it's on a long list of things that will need to be done to this truck in order for it to go up and down and hopefully not bang off the ground. So that's the plan. If you've never been here before, make sure to do all normal YouTube things. Go back and watch, I don't know, 100 videos, it feels like, of the Mazda build and all of the other random things we're doing. There's going to be a build on the Crown very soon. I actually started working on that. That's going to come out probably next week. But we're going to get right into it and try not to ramble the entire time. If you weren't here for the first Ranger video, you wouldn't have seen the fact that the Ranger is going to go up and down. But I want to drive the Ranger to work occasionally. So for now, we're going to do things to the Ranger that will eventually need to be done. It doesn't matter, and it's easy to do them now. So one of the things that I'd like to do first is raise the cross member because it needs to be done later. And I feel like making something, so we're going to make something today. I don't think this is 100% necessary for the way we're going with the Ranger, but I really don't like the way that the factory cross member looks because they're massive. And they do hang down. I'm going to try and get the truck pretty low. Like, if you don't know which way we're going with the Ranger, let me go check out the previous video to this. It's going to go up and down. It's going to go up and down aggressively with hydraulics on it. So I need to build it to be tough. And the factory cross member is probably plenty tough enough, but again, it's just ugly. So we're gonna make something cool. I'm gonna zip this off real quick. Get some measurements. That's pretty impressive. It took the nut almost completely off before the rust let loose. Jenga. Just gonna go for it. I don't have anything made up yet, but I figure if we cut the old mounts off, we have to fix it. Not supposed to hit the GoPro. Well, it's been 2 days. Jared and I basically got distracted with some things of the 9mm and 22 caliber options, and that turned into, it got dark, cold, and we got hungry, so we got the A.d.d. got a hold of both of us, and we didn't come back in the garage. It is yesterday consisted of yard work and adulting, so we're back out here. It is Saturday, and we're trying to get something done. I have been getting parts in for the last 2 days, which is pretty good. I ordered a lot of stuff off Rock Auto. We'll open that up here in a minute. That is completely full, and then there's 2 boxes of parts that showed up the day before that. I got, hopefully, everything that we need to do to make it reliable. I'm not sure if that's something you can say for a 2.9, but we're going to attempt. It has a lot of random oil leaks because all the gaskets are bad because it's been sitting for who knows how long. The guy I got it from a dead guy, and that guy was just flipping cars. So, I mean, you can clearly tell by the funk in between the glass. This has been sitting for a very long time in somebody's yard. We left off with the exhaust is cut off. As you can see, it is completely rotted pretty much everywhere. The muffler was rotted off. That cat has a hole in it, and the other cat on there is also rough. So I gotta come up with something to add to that weird oval flange thing to build exhaust off of. And speaking of exhaust, Jared is my resident Ranger guy. He was nice enough to give me a set of headers that he bought for another project. Turns out that when he bought them, their quality control was not the best, and they welded one of the flanges on upside down. So instead of the flange swooping up, the flange swoops down. Oh, it's the other one. The other one's backwards. This is supposed to be 180 degrees, basically. So, until I dig into the engine and start taking stuff off, we'll wait on that. I do need to come up with something just to make it to where the exhaust doesn't stop at the firewall, basically. But we're getting distracted. We're just going to get straight to work. We'll open that in a little bit. You crawl under here. I got some 2x2 laying out there on the ground. We're going to make up a mount and hopefully make it to where we can drive around the yard again. Probably looking at 29.5. Give us a little bit of room to get it in and out. I'm going to move a harness for the rear and a fuel line and probably a brake line out of the way. 29.5. A little Toyota action to add to the never-ending collection of magnets. Alright, so I was hoping these would come in. The truck is terrible to drive with the mirrors constantly pointing at the ground. I got these replacement mirrors for $5 a piece, which is pretty awesome. Hopefully they're not $5 worth. What the heck is going on with this? No wonder why this was on clearance. This was $1. Hopefully it doesn't have mold on it, judging by the rest of the box. Oh, looks okay. So the closeout stuff on Rock Auto's nice. This was like $2. The mirrors were $5. The belts were like $1.40 a piece, I think. We got new soft lines for this and the crown. Some valve cover gaskets. Another hose for like $2. Two rotors for $20 a piece. These are some end links for the crown. Got some new brake pads. Not bad. I actually have some stuff to do to this thing now. Hopefully all of it fits. I left enough meat on here from this cat to where hopefully I can just put a tailpipe on this for now until I get the want to build a full exhaust for it, because there's a whole lot of leaks that need to be fixed before we go with headers. We're already doing stuff that should probably wait, but I'm impatient. I want to build something. Alright, we got the cross member cut to length. I haven't capped the ends yet. I have an idea. This is the part that actually attaches it to the transmission. Pretty simple, straightforward, very, very beefy. So I have an idea. I'm going to attempt for the ends. I think my idea, if it works out correctly, I can do a single bolt on both sides and it not twist or move or anything. Not positive, but that's what I'm going to try. Alright, got her all welded up, looking pretty good. I'll add some still shots because I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up. But what I did, I tapped both ends to a 1/2 inch bolt. And my idea behind this, I have this little angle dude going this way, this one's the opposite way. So those two together should stop it from twisting either way and allow me to slip it into the frame rail. I slotted the holes for the actual trans mount, just like the factory one has. Gives me a little bit of adjustment. So I need to slip this in the frame, figure out where to drill my holes, and get this bolted in. So here is the mounting bolt. Same thing on the other side. Very, very simple. I was going to do it on the bottom. Still unsure if the truck's going to lay completely flat or not. Well, as flat as Rangers lay, which is like a 45-degree angle, but still unsure. So went with the side, just in case it actually lays frame. But looking pretty good. It's in there nice and level, even, all that. Now it's flush, well, below flush with the bottom of the frame. If you decide to do this in this style, keep in mind I am not running the factory cat. The factory cat basically just runs straight into this tube. Mine will go, basically it'll curve up and go above it. So just don't think you're gonna throw a piece of 2x2 in your frame rail and not have to do any modifications to the exhaust. This is an antique. It doesn't need cats, at least in my area, so it's not getting any of that. But we're looking pretty good. Now that that's done, we can throw my $5 mirrors on and back the truck up without worrying about running into the garage. And I need to make some battery cables real quick. One thing you do lose by swapping these out, which really doesn't matter because the factory ones are always junk, you lose the metal housing there. The mirror's still plastic, but the housing is not. I'm not sure why it comes in new hardware, because that hardware looks nothing like the stuff I'm taking out of it. Well, this turned into way more than just taking 2 bolts out. Wow, that was really involved, and good thing the mirror covers all that up. I got a couple things I definitely need to address. One being, that's not the right battery, or that battery box is just rotted enough to where it doesn't hold the battery correctly. The positive actually makes contact with the inner fender occasionally, and every time that you move around just a little bit, this nasty whatever that is made out of sprinkles on you. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this so I'm not breathing it the entire time. Don't breathe this. I don't even understand how these are still transferring energy. This is terrible. This is how I picked it up. It's just kind of doing its thing. Neither one of them are even remotely tight. The ground, I don't think I'm going to mess with tonight because it's getting kind of late. The positive is 100% trash, though. It needs to be addressed before it becomes a really, really big issue. It's pretty sweet. Alright, we've been over this before. Very straightforward, cheap, effective way of making battery cables look like not cheap battery cables. What I recommend doing, I've done it for many, many years. Hop on Marketplace, Craigslist, whatever. There's usually always some, probably a crackhead that has some questionable welding wire, but there's usually welding wire on Marketplace. Buy 30 feet, 100 feet, whatever it is that they have. It's a very durable, heavy, thick coating battery cable. I use it on everything. I have hundreds of feet that I purchase anytime it pops up. So, very straightforward. Get you some decent cutters. They also act as strippers. I have used hydraulic crimpers. I have used the ones that you smack with a hammer. I have yet to find one that holds better than this. I have tested them all on many of my cars, and I have always had luck with exactly what we're going to do right here. Make sure that your ends are in the orientation that you want them, because that matters. Get your favorite sharp, cheap screwdriver that you don't really care about. Wrap the entire line with some cheap, off of Amazon, I can get you links, heat shrink that has the glue in it. This is a quick and easy way of making this look fancier than it actually is. To signify the fact that this is a power wire, throw a little red heat shrink on the end. There's one fancy looking, super cheap cable. The ends are also from Amazon. While I was getting distracted by normal A.d.d things and ended up doing trash and more yard work today, the Amazon people showed up again, dropped off some cheap goodies. So this is kind of a weird thing. To me, pretty much anything sounds good with a MagnaFlow. Generally speaking, I try to put MagnaFlows on all of the vehicles I've owned that had 4 cylinders or 6 cylinders, and then I try to keep the V8s to a chambered muffler. I think that just made for a better sound. The Mazda has a MagnaFlow on it. Sounds great. This is no exaggeration, I've had over 100 cars and I've done a whole lot of exhaust to a lot of my vehicles. What you see on the channel from me keeping vehicles, it's kind of rare. I'm getting old. I'm slowing down, I guess. For the van, I was gifted some MagnaFlows, and they're like brand new. Standard stainless steel MagnaFlow, staggered. They go pretty much straight through. For that truck has a MagnaFlow, and I wanted to put a MagnaFlow on this, being that it's a V6. Those MagnaFlows are like $120 now, which is pretty ridiculous because they've been like 70 bucks forever, and now they're all of a sudden crazy priced. But looking around on Amazon, I came across this. If the MagnaFlow didn't have a stamp on it, there is absolutely no way I'd be able to tell the difference between those two. They look identical. They're probably made in the same place. This is a straight through, being that it's not offset, but it's ridiculous how similar those are. So we're going to test out the $46 version on Amazon on the Ranger, and hopefully it sounds good. So we're going to finish this video up since I went to sleep at like 1 a.m. We're going to finish this up with trying to get some of this gunk off of the Ranger. If you were here before, during the first van video, I showed this method on how I try to remove a whole lot of built up gunk very quickly. Sounds like a race car. So, this is my very, very simple, easy method on how to remove all of this built up stuff without scrubbing it for hours. And by built up stuff, I mean all of this nastiness that doesn't normally come off with normal car soap. And the main thing I'm concerned about is all of that in there. We might end up taking this off if I can get it off by myself. Seems like there's only 4 clamps holding it on, so maybe we'll just pull that off real quick. Let's see how heavy this, or hopefully light, this thing is. Doesn't look like it's been off for a long time. It's not bad. Let's see if I can do this without wiping out the GoPro. Ooh. Not too bad. The last dude was nice enough to leave a bunch of trash in here. Alright, so now that you have your vehicle that's been sitting for a long time with paint that you don't necessarily care about, but you don't want to sit there and scrub and scrub and scrub, go to the Dollar Tree. I think they sell this stuff at Walmart too. Dollar Tree, $1.25 a bottle. Get the crappy, cheap Amazon foam cannon, and you can force the threads onto the foam cannon. Hook that to your really cheesy little power washer, and you get this thick, extremely well working degreaser that you don't have to sit there and scrub all that gunk off. Again, not for a vehicle you care about the paint. I wouldn't recommend doing it more than once on a set of tires either, because it'll do what they call blooming, where the tires just, the oil comes to the top. These tires are 100% shot. Perfect tread, but they are dry rotted all to crap. So it really doesn't matter I like to do this before I get into vehicles and really start tearing into them because they're disgusting. Just from working on that cross member, it's covered in handprints already because of all of the nastiness on the truck. Some might argue that the power washer by itself is enough, and I do not agree. This definitely adds a much easier, I don't even know what you call it. It makes it easier. That's what I'm trying to say. What I'll normally do is soak it, let that drip a little while, soak it again, and then power wash it. Well, now that I got distracted and rinsed off the daily, we'll jump back over to the Ranger. We'll do the satisfying stuff first. That way we can really see the nasty grime coming off this thing. The wind is blowing all of that back on me. Your initial layer of funk is washed off. Go ahead, hit it one more time. We're spending a total of $4 with tax, because it's a $1.25 store now, not the dollar store anymore. Cheap, I don't know what these are, $5 on Amazon. Get that nice and sudsed up. Suds the truck up one more time. I have tried to do this same thing with normal car soap over and over throughout the years, and for whatever reason, it doesn't cut through all of that stuff that trees produce. But again, don't do this if this is, like, for whatever reason, a really nice paint job. underneath this, because this is going to strip away a lot. It could potentially strip away paint, but I don't care about this. I kind of like the chalky, pappy truck look. We're not going full on detailer here. We're just scrubbing some of the funk down that didn't get taken off in the initial power washing. Mainly my handprints and the last guy's handprints. Can't forget about the pappy cap. Well, overall, the Ranger looks way better for $3 whole. It is, it's looking pretty good. Doesn't look like it's been sitting in the woods for 20 years anymore. We're not taking over the channel with the Ranger quite yet. I know that everybody wants to see the Mazda done, and the Mazda is going to get done before I start rambling. Check that out. That is an extremely nice bed. I didn't feel like getting in there and scrubbing today, but just a rinse off, not bad. So I mentioned in the beginning of the video that I had a truckload of steel. That truckload of steel is going to potentially build the entire truck as far as hydraulics and everything else goes, and it's going on the Mazda. I picked up 2 sticks of 2x2 for battery racks, some 2x2 angle iron, a sheet of 16 gauge, a sheet of 18 gauge, and a sheet of 3/16. I've been putting off ordering like a large quantity of steel because the shipping's free to the house or to my job. So now that I have some other things to put steel on, I ordered a lot. So with that steel, we'll be getting back on the Mazda. I got a couple spots that we need to fabricate from scratch. This is rusty and that needs to be cut off and replaced. I got some other small holes that need to be patched. Got a lot of stuff going on. The crown, again, it's going to get its own video very, very soon. But I think that does it for this weekend. We got it out of our system on doing something to the Ranger. It wasn't huge and it didn't take up a crazy amount of time. The Ranger looks way better already. That old paint kind of came back to life. I don't care if it's shiny or not. I'm cool with the chalkiness, but that's a that's a pretty good looking truck now. I got new headlights for it. There's a lot of parts. We'll be working on the Ranger. I'm not gonna forget about the Mazda, so don't worry about the Mazda. It's coming up very soon, probably within the next 2 weeks or so. We'll be pulling the bed off of that, pulling the bed in the garage, and just tearing into it. We need to finish up the roll pan. We need to make that back panel between the bed floor and the roll pan, I guess. A lot of work. But we have steel now, so we're getting to everything. Again, I've been rambling a lot this video. I'm kind of all over the place. The A.d.d is rampant. I tell y'all, it's when the camera is off, this is kind of how it goes. I bounce back and forth a lot. So bear with me. We're trying to stay on track. We're trying to mix it up a little bit so my brain can calm down. I've been wanting to wash that since the day that I got it, but I've been putting it off. So again, thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to do all the normal YouTube-y things with the subscribes and the likes, and I will see y'all next Sunday.